I'm Malik Ekin, Chief Strategy Officer at Ekin Smart City Technologies, making the world a smarter place and a safer place with our proprietary AI technologies that we develop in-house. I've been working at Ekin for the last 2 years, full-time, every day. However, it was every summer before that, since maybe I was 12, 13, and it will probably be like that for the next 50 to 60 years. But looking at the growth for our company for the next 10 to 15 years, yes. My father is an aeronautical aerospace engineer, born and raised in Germany. So our company is very much engineer focused. We have 200 plus engineers, mechanical engineers, software engineers, developers, and Ekin is fully privately held. We don't invest in other companies. We don't buy companies. We develop everything in-house. The property currently, I'm standing in this facility. Downstairs, we have our R&D lab where we produce our own boards. We produce essentially from A to Z, manufacturing our own devices, which are installed on streets, on vehicles, moving objects, mobility. And Ekin is privately held. We're not looking for any investment and we will not be looking for it. So we don't have anyone to answer to. And we're here to provide a service for agencies. Ekin is not a startup. However, we live like a startup. We're very fast. We're very, very efficient. Everything over here, whatever we see, any news, any new issue, any problem, we're problem solvers. So if there's any problem, we get on it immediately. Our R&D lab has maybe more than 15, 20 other solutions / products that we've developed. However, we didn't put it to the market and they've been tested, they work. So we're always R&Ding new stuff, new technology, and developing everything for agencies. Ekin is a 28-year-old company. We started developing our own software and hardware in 2001. We own the full product from software to the boards inside. It says Ekin inside of it, cameras, we design them, we manufacture them, we have our own machines. Ekin has operations in the US for the last 7 years through partners and various agencies. However, we are changing our strategy into agencies, the law enforcement, public safety directly, because there's a problem and we know we can solve it and we want to solve it for agencies and everyone out there. We're not new to the US. We already have our devices from West Coast to all the way to the East Coast in operation. So Ekin is already in 50 plus countries. Our tech works. We're in thousands of cities, managing intersections. Our plan in the US is to bring manufacturing, assembly, production, developing, R&D. We want to build a large R&D facility over there. Ekin wants to hire 100 people in 2026. We have big goals. We can see the problems currently people are facing in agencies, and we want to solve it because our tech already solves it in different locations across the world. Ekin has been in the news recently for bringing investment capital in the US, where we have large goals. We want to hire 100 plus people in the US in 2026, investing more than $25 million in 2026, accumulated revenue, ARR of $100 million plus globally. And inside of the US, we will be solving more cases and we will be on the news, not because we want to be on the news, but because we actually solve the problem and we want others to see that we can solve their problem as well. Public safety currently in the US and globally, it's very fragmented. There's more than 18,000 law enforcement agencies out there in the States, and it's very difficult to connect all the dots, connect all the data that they're having, all the evidence that they're capturing into essentially one location where multiple devices across the city can actually speak to each other. It's like having a team. I don't think public safety in the US currently is able to speak to each other well enough as it should be to solve more cases. And I want to thank everyone for their service. I think everyone is doing as much as they can and more than they can. They're doing a great job. Ekin, I believe, can adapt into any environment. We already work in 50 plus countries, multiple cities. For example, in Japan, they have a plate number with more than 4 languages. It could be Qatar, the UAE. We could go to Malaysia, Switzerland, Germany, Colombia, Ecuador. The plates are different everywhere. In the US, they have an issue of reading the plates. There's so many states this isn't an issue for us because we already capture so many different states, cities, countries, plates. And Ekin is an adaptive company. Ekin adapts and builds on everything. We're always listening to our clients. We're always listening to what problems they're facing, not just with our product, but with the general problems they're facing to see how further we could go and help them out. We patch all of our software every 2 weeks. And if there's any update, we work on it as quickly as we can. As I mentioned, since we're privately held, I don't have anyone to answer to other than our CEO. And our job is to help them out. If we have any issue there, my job is to actually solve the problem. It's not to let's get corporate, let's wait. We're not about that. Currently, in parking enforcement in major cities like New York City, it could be LA, San Francisco, downtown areas where there are cities. It's the traffic agents walking around with a handheld device, writing the plate down, location, getting an image of the car. They can only write 25 to 45 tickets a day. There was a recent study done, 2008, not that recent anymore, but in New York City where they could only write 25 to, if I'm not mistaken, 45 tickets. And Ekin's products, Ekin's technology changes that. We have devices on bikes. We have devices which go on quad bikes, which go on ATVs, motorcycles, vehicles, inside vehicles, which just scan the road. Traffic agent is going around, driving around, picks up everything. Illegally parked vehicles, it could be fire hydrants, it could be blocked lanes, like for example, blocked bike lanes. I think that's, I'm a bike rider in New York City and the problem is people are blocking the bike lane and I'm forced into traffic. So the problem isn't writing more tickets, not about writing more violations, it's about solving the problem of pushing bike riders into the traffic lane. Ekin doesn't behave like other large corporations, entities, companies. Ekin still behaves like a startup. We still have a very tight ship that we're running, and that's why we can, adapt anywhere. I think, Ekin is like a small warship going around, could be large as well, but we're very fast, we're very quick. We behave like a startup. We localize our product as soon as we can. We build software to make it easier for any agent walking around with our own software on their phone, tablet, laptop, dashboard, anywhere. We're working on everything to make it easier for them to use it. Interesting case, there was a large agency which requested Ekin. Technically, they didn't request it. It was a conversation. They said, we have this problem. And what do you guys think about it? And Ekin already has 200 plus engineers. We're hiring more people, more engineers constantly. So the large agency had an issue with their canal where boats were speeding with their wake. Some of them didn't have their tags on it. And this is a large issue because you could be carrying anything on your boat. And the agency didn't know where people were speeding. They didn't know how to stop it. They didn't know how to read their tags. And it was all done manually. So someone had to actually sit there and do this. And it's a very hard job. It could rain, it could be cold, and it's difficult. And you can't catch everyone. You can't have everyone standing in a 6-mile canal. And what Ekin is great at is finding solutions to problems which we've already solved in a different country. The only reason why I'm personally here is, that's actually a large reason, but I live my life accordingly to this. Ekin is not just going to be a company which is, selling products, selling tech. We can build anything. We have a kitchen right beneath me over here, right over here. We have more than 10 offices globally, and we're growing. And we have more than 200 engineers. We can build out anything. We just recently started this new project called Ekin Ventures. We have Ekin Smart City Technologies right over here. Public safety, smart city tech, parking enforcement, managing cities. And then Ekin Ventures is using the same kitchen, our own R&D lab, to create different companies. So funny enough, we don't have the issue of product. We can build any type of product using our own tech. We can analyze anything. We're implementing everything into our new Maestro system, ETS, whatever we can to improve it, make it safer, easier using AI LLMs. New thing about Ekin Ventures is we created this new company called Snapify, which is new company, new entity, but the product isn't new. It sits inside of malls, QSRs, retail chains. It could be malls, stadiums, and we analyze the way people behave and move inside stores. It could be staff, it could be customers, looking at the way they interact, trying to give real-time data and data which is monthly data for, could be users, could be for the store managers, which will be able to use this data for increased ROI, increasing their margins and efficiently running their companies. However, this is about Ekin developing new tech, and we're very adaptable. We can't build a plane probably. We need more people, but we could still work on something like that and maybe a part on it, but that's what really excites me about Ekin. Ekin has ALPR as a feature of all of our products. It's, I believe it's like a commodity inside of our own product. We have it. It's like breathing. Everyone can breathe. Products also breathe. They read tags, they read plates, they scan the city, they scan the roads, they scan the signs. Everything is done in real time, edge processed. We process everything inside of our products, and we don't need any other processing in the cloud anywhere else.